Alright, with the recent popularity of Blade and your recent disappointment with Steel,
I really thought Shaquille O'Neal was going to be the next Mark Wahlberg.
it just makes sense to discuss who will get what going forward.
Yeah, that dark stuff with Blade worked pretty well. We're gonna try some of that.
Nope. Our next 7 movies are gonna be cashing in on the dark stuff. Destined to all be hits.
But all we got is lighthearted crap coming up.
Well, that's why you have the Caped Crusader.
After Batman and Robin?
Nobody's gonna want to see another Batman movie in years.
Hey, we're switching it up too. We've got a colorful and corny Spider-Man movie coming out from the director of Evil Dead.
Yeah, it's probably not gonna break any records, but it should be a huge hit with the kids.
Fine, I guess we'll do another Batman movie, even though there's no money in it.
Christ, years from now, everyone's gonna associate Marvel with dark and gritty and DC with bright and playful.
Right?
Well then, there should be no problem signing this television contract.
Wait, this is affecting our shows too?
Oh yes.
You see, all of your TV series will be upbeat and positive, while all of ours are going to be depressing and harsh. It'll make you want to kill yourself.
But what if we end up completely misunderstanding our audiences and we end up doing the exact opposite?
It's okay. Our animation departments will fill in the blanks. We'll keep ours goofy and harmless while you keep yours complex and intriguing, with some exceptions.
But what if somehow DC's material for children ends up doing more adult work than our material for adults?
Yeah, and they're gonna do a cartoon version of The Killing Joke with a hard R rating.
That was bizarrely specific.
Yeah. So, anything else?
One more thing. Are you sure you don't want any of your shows to be tied to this new Netflix format that's getting a lot of buzz?
Yeah, like anything's gonna kill cable. No, you guys can handle that.
Besides, we don't want to be known as those guys that always copy Marvel.
That is a very valid point. So, anything else?
Yeah, what are our plans in terms of comics?
Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Done.
Hello, I'm a Nostalgia Critic. I remember it so you don't have to. Comic book movies have had a lot of ups and downs over the years. Sometimes they were on top of the world, and sometimes they were Daredevil. But when comic book films were seen at their most unpopular, one little kick-ass movie came along and said, hey, not only am I gonna be awesome, but people are gonna completely overlook me when they say Deadpool was the first R-rated comic book flick. How do you sleep at night, Internet? How do you sleep at night? I'm of course talking about the late 90s hit, Blade. People talk about influence in recent comic book films, they usually go to The Dark Knight or Avengers. But many forget this did play a big part in not only getting popularity back to the genre, but also creating a ton of tropes still used in comic book movies today. Written by David S. Goyer and directed by Stephen Dorrington, two people you thought were gonna be comic book gods, managed to turn out a movie pretty cool and badass, while also being about as 90s as a commercial where kids rule. Does the classic coolness overrule the dated silliness? Well, let's see if this vampire spectacle sucks in a good way or a bad way. This is Blade. We open up with Blade's birth, seeing his mother slowly bleed to death. Always a pleasant start. The credits roll, as you can tell already this movie is a bad case of the 90s simply by its sped up footage. It was a simpler time when we were so blown away by the fast forward button. We see a woman driving her date to apparently a hot nightclub.
So where are we going?
It's a surprise, baby.
Yeah, I like surprises. Yeah.
I'm just here to die or be saved. Character tool all the way! They enter a club playing music that sounds like your Atari is trying to throw a rave. When we come across an effect even better than speeding up the footage. Speeding up the footage with a white flash. Whoa! Our 90s minds can't handle this! You're blowing us away with what we hit our computers for doing today! But our midnight snack is about to get a surprise when he finds he stumbled into a literal bloodbath. No! I guess this is supposed to be scary, but nowadays you probably just see this at any goth club. Dude, the blood is supposed to rain at 4. Right now you're supposed to be dangling the rubber gimps. He finds all of them have vampire fangs. Again, a usual non-scary occurrence at the goth club, when he comes across his knight in shining leather, Blade, played by Wesley Snipes.
It's Blade. It's the Daywalker.
The vampires try their hardest to wave their fingers at him, but it doesn't work, as he partakes in some pretty kick-ass fight scenes here. Damn, I'm possessed! What if I can play the accordion too? Oh yeah, gun. That usually wins over swinging hooks. Even though the rotting remains are about as real as the rotting remains from a pumpkin bomb, these fight sequences are filled with the most awesome of implausibility.
That's very unlikely.
There, I give you footage for like 50 trailers. You know, for a character this badass, that was a pretty dorky move. You now join the ranks that Kevin McAllister, Data, and that weird baby meme have made timelessly awkward. I'm just gonna assume you haven't seen the past 20 years of white media.
I'm getting a little tired of chopping my second. Thought I might try fire.
He sets him on fire while also saving the story pawn as our extra crispy vampire is sent to the hospital. Here, Dr. Karen Jensen, played by Nebusha Wright, is looking him over with another doctor she used to date.
You ever have second thoughts about us?
Sometimes. But then I remember how much of an asshole you were.
No, I'm trying. Really, I am.
It's over.
Well, that character backstory seemed really necessary. I still think we can work. No, really, there must be a reason for that romantic interest. It seemed completely pointless.
Came back to finish you off.
Yeah, this brings up a continuing question about the film. Blade several times is given opportunities to kill off this character, Quinn. But he doesn't, resulting in tons of people either getting killed or maimed. Like, over and over and over. Why does he have such a hard time killing this guy off? Dear Diary, I almost killed Quinn off this time, but when I looked into his dreamy eyes, I knew. I was a Quinn girl forever. Blade is about to let the doctor die when his damn Oedipus complex kicks in, reminding him of his dying mother, and he takes her to his hideout. There we come across world-renowned Planet of the Apes star Chris Christopherson, playing Whistler, who tries to heal her bite marks with garlic.
Hold it.
Thanks, that'll help a lot. I'll call you when an earthworm needs restraining. We're introduced to our shadowy room of evil business suits because Marvel will always love this cliche. And they bring in their evilest vampire who can never get a shirt that fits, Deacon Frost, played by Stephen Dorff. This guy's a lot of fun. Just imagine all of Edward Norton's yeah faces had a son. And he only listened to Prodigy.
Maybe it's time we forgot about discretion. We should be ruling the humans. Or maybe I'm just the first to say out loud what we've all been thinking.
I propose a movement where we dress like we don't care how we look when really it's the most important thing to us. I call it the hipster effect.
Do we have any other business to discuss?
Sano, you may wake up one day and find yourself extinct.
Really? We're just gonna let him get away with that? You know, for a guy who does things we don't like, we sure do let him do things that we don't like. The good doctor wakes up and seems to be doing better as she sees what Blade has to go through in order to survive. Oh, he just read the script to Blade Trinity. I'd be holding his hand too. Whistler tells Karen exactly what they're fighting against.
You gotta understand, they're everywhere. Vampires. The Hominis Nocturna.
That means vampires. But seems Frost is doing research into the vampire archives, pissing off the council even more.
We're in a library. You don't need to shout.
What are you after, Frost?
Tell me or next time I'll actually hit you.
What are you gonna do?
I don't need this. I'm only here because Chris Pine hasn't been invented yet.
You bore me.
Well, you wouldn't be the first. So after trying to figure out if a friggin' newspaper building blew up in town, seriously, Karen is told not to trust anybody when she's suddenly approached by a cop in her apartment.
Police officer, I didn't mean to scare you. The front door was open.
What are you doing in here?
I'm just here on a routine check.
I heard you were black, so you're under arrest for something.
You're dead too, bitch. What is this, garlic? Who'd said I was a vampire?
Nobody.
Christ, I think Blade's whole goal in this movie is to leave at bad times and then come back just before things get worse. Okay, I'm leaving. I'm really leaving this time.
Newborn clinic.
So where were you taking it?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Does nobody care that a guy with a sword is slamming a cop's head into a car? I mean, never forget NWA, but I think someone would at least raise an He escapes though, causing Blade and Karen to follow him through Fast Forward Lane.
Get me Pearl!
Pearl is feeding.
I got a delivery to Frost here, and I just had a run-in with Blade. We gotta clear out that clinic on Hilbert now!
Okay, if you want to do pointless speedy footage, that's fine, but at least have them talk the way they're supposed to talk.
Calling all cars, calling all cars! I just had a run-in with Blade! Send in all cars, horses, planes that loop the loop! Me, I want
Vampire Anatomy 101. Crosses and running water don't do dick, so forget what you've seen in the movies. You use a steak, silver, or sunlight.
Yeah, forget all that stuff you've seen in the movies. Concentrate on this stuff, like in the movies. So while the vampires sit around partying, watching Mortal Kombat. Yeah, you vampires are gonna find a lot of blood in that movie. The cop tells Frost of his run-in with Blade.
Don't worry about it, though. It's no problem. We can still get the girl.
Am I fired or is this a promotion? As a guy who wants to be a vampire, I genuinely don't know. In case you forgot, that bat means that they're vampires. Symbolism. Blade and Karen come across the person who keeps track of all the archives and okay. Even for a movie about a guy who chases vampires, that's pretty silly. Bring me solo un Wookie. Good thing he's not a woman, or else that would suddenly be indecent. They get captured by Quinn and his gang, but it looks like Blade has backup.
Catch you fuckers at a bad time?
As long as you don't have a copy of A Star Is Born, then no. They escape into a subway that just happens to be connected to the vampire archives. Odd design work. As they wait for the longest train ever to pass and then end up literally catching a ride on it.
Oh my god!
Yeah, okay. So Whistler reveals why Blade seems to have all the vampire strengths and few of their weaknesses.
Blade's mother was attacked by a vampire while she was pregnant. She died, but he lived. He can withstand garlic, silver, even sunlight.
He also obtained an aversion to taxes as well. I like to point out I waited this long to make a tax joke. I think I did pretty well! Karen consoles Blade during his all-important wall watching, while Frost and his goons apparently kidnap the leader of the vampires to kill him. They should probably all fry up, but it's okay because the other vampires have sunblock and helmets. Was Marceline's sun hat not available? Karen uses her Dr. Know-how to figure out how to make vampires' heads explode. Science! When Whistler makes a discovery about her.
You don't look so good.
I mean, the studio won't let you look bad, so this is what we count as not good.
I guess we didn't catch it in time.
So it looks like she's still gonna turn into a vampire in a day or two, but that doesn't get in the way of a meeting between Blade and the now helmetless Frost. So wait a minute, if you have enough sunblock, the day doesn't bother you? Because if so, being a vampire is literally a day at the beach.
Easy. Wouldn't want our little friend here to wind up on the back of a milk carton now, would we?
But Blade sees saving people as more of a secondary thing, and tries to shoot Frost, causing him to toss the child. Dead. Oh, I mean, no scratch on her whatsoever. She must have been wearing a lot of sunblock too.
Go home.
Yeah, what the hell do you think this guy is talking about? I mean, I know we just saw a man fly into the street, save a kid, and we're all just gonna ignore it, but let me tell you about this cop who got his head smashed into a car that I ignored. The city. We're just kinda there.
It's hard being an artist when you have headaches always popping up. It affects your work, so no one takes you seriously.
That's just a sugar-coated topping that you can control. Try David S. Goyer. David S. Goyer seems effective at first, like the miracle you've always been looking for. But then on closer inspection, you realize it might not be as effective as you thought. Your denial will tell you it's doing a good job, but after a while, you can't ignore the pain it's causing. It's not as bad as it was before, but it's still really bad. People will like your work at first because they see you have Goyer attached to it. But then they'll wake up and realize that most of it was dumb luck, surviving on the talent of others.
Everybody says the techniques were great, but the product was overall shit.
You'll not only realize it did less than you thought, but it's actually slowing you down compared to other successful medicines.
At first I thought it worked great, but now I see it's just a bigger placebo than Dumbo's magic feather.
Experts agree. It's not the worst thing out there. It did some good things, I think, though maybe that was other people. And, come on, just come on. David S. Goyer. Sooner or later, you'll feel the pain. And don't forget to try Nighttime David S. Goyer. Oh yes, it will ruin the Sandman.
So Karen discovers a cure for turning into a vampire off-screen. Yeah, they're surprisingly kinda laid back about it. But Frost also discovers Blade's hideout off-screen. You know, it's good to show and don't tell, but when you don't do neither, you have neither. And tries to capture them. Stop aiming at the rails and maybe you'll hit something. Blade comes home to see what happened as he gives one hell of an emotional, breathtaking, Oscar-caliber reaction to his fatherly mentor being destroyed. If only more blood-curdling moments in cinema had reactions like that.
I am your father.
No! Oh. Woof. That sucks. Whistler still has a few breaths left in him as he tells Blade where they took Karen.
Frost is trying to trigger up.
Yeah, that'll help him big time. I can see why you brought a doctor into your home.
Give me your gun. Now walk away.
Well, I'm just gonna last long enough to be brought back in a sequel just to die again in another sequel. It's a well-planned out future that lies ahead for me. So Blade once again breaks into Frost's headquarters. He turns some vampires' heads into Bob the Tomato. Or Bob the Ketchup. But inside this giant Macintosh cigarette case lies a big secret.
Eric?
Yep, Blade's mom is still alive, and it turns out she's a vampire now. And on the side of Frost. You think someone would have used that bombshell a little earlier. Man, this Blade guy is ruining my plans and destroying my operation!
Honey, what are you doing?
Oh, not now, mother of my enemy who he doesn't know is still alive and on my side. I have to figure out a way to get rid of Blade. Wait a minute. I love Oreos! But there's an even bigger twist to all this.
You spent your whole life looking for the vampire who bit your mother. Well, here I am.
Well, it's a small, convoluted world after all. Weird! After capturing him, Karen reveals a secret about the cure she's created.
If it works, you'll lose your strength and your ability to regenerate. You'll be completely human.
Huh. So the cure is totally friggin' useless. Don't get me wrong, I know she uses it on herself, but from a story perspective, what happens? She gets bitten, they say they didn't get to it in time, so she makes a cure. If you just cut out them not getting to it in time, which adds nothing to the plot at all, the cure is entirely not needed. But it's okay, because if you love pointless, drawn-out moments, you're gonna love what's coming up next! See, here's the setup. Frost needs to lay out 12 of the Vampire Council in this ancient temple with Blade's blood combining with them this one night because through comic book mumbo-jumbo, it'll make him a vampire god. Silly, but whatever. It sounds kind of fun. There's possibilities with it. The downside is where it took me only a few seconds to say all that, it takes the movie 10 minutes to do it. Yeah, they just kind of sit around, talk, laugh, talk and laugh. laugh and talk. All we want to see is the action, but it takes for friggin' ever with detours. But I know what you're thinking. Through all of this, whatever happened to Karen's doctor friend? The one who got bitten? What? You weren't wondering that? Well, we're gonna spend a lot of time on it anyway. Because hey, there's nothing better we could be doing, and we know it's eating you up inside with curiosity. He's a zombie now. Yeah, you do the math on that one. It's some sort of bullshit side effect that sometimes happens after being bitten. Sure, and vampires sparkle too. But who cares about that? Because who cares about all of this? It's literally just 10 minutes of slow, boring filler, and it feels like an eternity.
You're afraid we're gonna steal your soul? Your pure blood spirit? You should be. Read the prophecy. It's time you fucks contributed something to the cause.
Even if Frost is right, you really think he cares about you? You're gonna die.
Well, I guess he wasn't needed for the ceremony. What, they just bring him along because he looks like William Fichtner? Because to be fair, every movie needs more William Fichtner. After the ceremonial ripping open of the shirt. Very necessary. Karen escapes and tells Blade to suck her blood to get his strength back, all while the temple is turned into a human plasma ball. All vampire skeletons have tiny skeletons inside of them just trying to get out. With wings! How long do we have to wait again? Okay. Blade does Freud proud by penetrating his mother with a long, hard bone, resulting in him finally jumping in to get revenge.
I got 2 new hands, Blade. I don't know which one to use to kill you with.
Well, doesn't matter what I do now, I am never topping that throughout the rest of the film. From here, it's all the cool stuff you wanted to see. Amazingly flippable guards, ripping out a guy's throat just to throw it at another guy, being launched in the air via nut kick. Even the stuff that's kind of stupid is really awesome, like how Karen continues to hit everything except what she's supposed to hit. This weird scene where they keep kicking the air for some reason. Mass miss, 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 mass. Gotcha! Ow, that hurt! And the fact that even though there's weapons that can clearly kill vampires, nobody ever thinks of using them on Blade. What do you got there? A plank of wood? Oh, yeah, that'll take him down. Ooh, a shovel. That has to be his undoing. Blade destroyed by deadly shovel. You guys really thought you'd be gods? You're using wood! Unless it's the aliens from Signs, it's not gonna do much. But who cares? Because it's still kick-ass, gory amazingness, all building up to the final boss.
Hey, Blade! Let's do this.
But it looks like his blood is made from pizza cheese as well as some other cartoony extras.
My turn.
Finally, the time has come for me to stop doing those stupid e-vape commercials. But Blade finds the serum that makes vampires go boom and he unloads them on Frost, resulting in him saying his big finishing line.
Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
That is a really weird note to go out on. To this day, I can't figure out if that was really clever or one of the dumbest lines ever said by a comic book character. What do you think the other variations were? Some mother truckers are always trying to put diesel in their SUVs. Some peanut M&Ms are always trying to melt in your hand but not in your mouth. Some sushi patrons are always trying to mix their soy sauce with wasabi. Some fast food lovers are always ordering Little Caesars without the crazy bread. Some vacationers are always trying to go to Disney World at peak times, when it's obvious that mid-November through mid-December is the best time to go. I mean, seriously, just bring a sweater and you'll be fine. And don't forget to take advantage of those hotel villages with free shuttle bus service. Full price for their monorail access resorts? I don't think so, mouse. He kicks the last needle into his head, finishing him off. Huh, so I guess he can't put himself together after that. Being a god just means being slightly less destructible than you already were. Good to know that the ancient gods of old can't compete with head blowy up science. So, we all know the drill. Blade and Karen kiss in a romantic embrace, even though they have very little in common.
I need to get back to the lab.
It's not over. There's still a war going on, and I have a job to do.
I don't think you know how this works. He's a dude, you're a chick, you have to end up together, even if you have no chemistry at all. It's like a law.
You want to help make me a better serum?
Wow, really? They don't get together? There is such a thing as a man and a woman working together in an action film and they don't have to hook up? Quickly, Tumblr, rewrite this ending so that not only do they get together, but they have 20 children, all with different sexual identities. If 20 sexual identities don't exist, make them up! You're good at that! We travel to Moscow for really no reason except to get this cool shot, and we end with him hunting vampire ass once more. Now that was Blade, an overlooked comic book staple and, to be honest, still pretty damn cool. Okay, the writing's not always good and there's a lot of 90s cheese, but there's just a style and a creativity to it that still makes it really enjoyable. It's not too mopey that it can't be fun, but it's not too silly that it can't be serious. It's visually awesome, its characters are entertaining, and the action is still impressive and gets you sucked in. It got people saying comic book movies could be cool at a time when they were being seen as box office Pearl Harbors. This is one of the films that helped get movies like Dark Knight and Iron Man into the spotlight again. So if you want something that rarely makes sense, but still a pretty rockin' good time, this is definitely one to take a look at. I'm the Nostalgia Critic, and some fruit by the foots are always a few inches short. Hello, I'm the Nostalgia Critic guy. Remember it so you don't have to. Let's talk about... Sorry, it's just when I talk about certain people, they have a bad habit of bursting into the studio mid-sentence. So, with that said, let's talk about Guillermo del Toro. Yeah. Hello, del Toro.
Buenos dias, human. I hope you don't mind I have my monster kick down your door.
Is he housebroken?
He broke into your house? No, seriously, he shit all over the floor.
Okay, can you get rid of him, please?
Only if done in artistically poetic way.
I don't care, just do it!
Certainly. Damien, the sun is a lie.
Guten Abend, gute Nacht, mit Rosen bedeckt.
Del Toro, that was amazing.
Yes, here's an award for something.
Oh, gracias, gracias.
So what's your next flawless project?
Well, for my next project, I decided to do something a little different. It's called Monsters Are Cool and Bad People Are Bad.
That is different.
It already sounds brilliant.
Brilliantly brilliant.
Except I just decided I do not want to.
Yeah, it's beneath you.
You're worth so much more.
Gracias.
You're amazing.
Gracias.
Incredible.
Yeah, Del Toro is kind of a hot thing right now. What started out as a fan base of movie monster lovers has turned into a pop culture phenomenon, with people praising the artistic style and dramatic substance of a true visionary. And when I say visionary, I mean he has a very distinct look and feel, usually focusing on the weird outcasts being the heroes and large aggressive forces being the villain. You always know when you're watching a Del Toro movie. But in terms of stories and characters, a lot of them seem a little familiar. Not in a bad way, I mean the inspired sources are still cool things to take from. It's just for a guy praised for his originality, a lot of what he does doesn't seem that new. Because of this, I just don't see his movies as perfection.
Santa Maria!
You dare blasphemy, Del Toro?
He won Best Picture for The Shape of Water. He's changing the Hollywood system.
You
really think that was the best picture of the year and it wasn't just the Academy virtue signaling?
In what way? It's about loving whoever you want.
The closed-minded conservative is the villain.
It was directed by a minority.
And Octavia Spencer was in it.
Maybe we should have rethought this argument.
I don't think Del Toro is bad, honestly. I just don't think he's the second coming of Jesus either.
Speaking of which, I have decided to do Haunted Mansion movie again.
Yay!
Maybe not.
Oh, it wasn't worth it.
Yeah, you could do better.
I don't know. I feel like the best equivalent of what Del Toro can achieve as a director can be summed up in Blade 2.
He directed that?
I directed that? Oh yeah, I did that.
And it was brilliant.
A masterpiece in its own right.
That was me.
What smells like monster feces?
Released in 2002, this is not Del Toro's best movie by a long shot. But it does deliver exactly what it promises, has some cool visuals along the way, and is by no means perfect, but still has a unique passion that makes it a fulfilling experience. It's a solid movie, despite there being a lot of strange, goofy, and over-the-top elements. But that's also part of what makes it so much fun. It's Del Toro just kinda doing his thing, giving us weird outcasts, lots of gore, cool monsters, and dark shadows for them to hide in. In my opinion, it's the perfect movie to show Del Toro's repeated strengths. But it also clearly shows his repeated weaknesses too. Not that they're overbearing, but they are a bit easier to spot in something not quite as award-grabby. So we're gonna look at this zany flick because it's one of the few Del Toro movies people can accept as just a zany flick. Let's start ice skating uphill. This is—
Stop! I have decided to do Hobbit Part 4. Maybe not.
Good call.
Yeah, it's not worth your genius. Here, have an award anyway.
Gracias!
I'm sure you did something brilliant in the last 10 minutes.
Blade 2. The film opens at a blood bank in the Czech Republic as a sickly-looking man named Nomak, played by Luke Goss, is eager to get involved in the blood biz, so to speak.
Where did you get that scar on your chin?
Childhood accident. A little boy made fun of me for being in Tekken, so I accidentally punched his childhood.
It looks like, big shock, these are vampires and Nomak has a rare blood type they want to drain out of him.
What is this?
This is a good news, bad news scenario, Jared. Bad news for you.
Oh God, I'm in an Elm Street movie, aren't I? Please say I don't go out via power glove! But Nomak attacks as it appears he's a different kind of monster. Everyone says that after seeing Vampire Academy. Cut to Blade, played again by Wesley Snipes, getting ready for his next mission as the credits roll.
They call me the Daywalker.
When they're not calling me the tax dodger.
There, got that joke out of the way, now we can be friends again. He says he's looking for Whistler, which is confusing, seeing how we saw him kill himself in the last film. But if there's anything David S. Goyer is great at, it's giving characters satisfying deaths.
Daywalker's here! Stop him!
He chases down some vampires who might have some info on where to find him. But not that one, he presumably knew nothing.
Now, Guillermo, what was your thought process on focusing on the fake effect for so long?
Yes, was it a statement to say that movies need to have better effects?
No, it's just a rush production. Even I don't like the effect.
I just got chills.
Inspiringly inspired!
It's true.
Dick! You're a dick! I'm officially starting a petition that Wesley Snipes never change. So what's the bullshit reason Whistler is still whistling Dixie? Makes you wonder, did the vampire killing bullets in Blade's gun not work? Was Whistler not a vampire yet? Even if so, I think a vampire killing bullet would probably do the same thing to a 60-year-old man. Did the vampires drop by Blade's hideout after Blade defeated Frost to get Whistler? Weird ass strategy to say the least. Okay, let's be honest, we all know what actually happened here.
Now walk away.
Shit, I don't have the balls to do this. That was me. I fired the gun. I'm dead. Dropping the gun to the floor because I'm dead. Don't bring your delicious blood-filled body back here. Ah, dookie. One of the vampires takes Blade to where they're holding Whistler while they're doing blood coke. Nah. Well, as Blade makes himself at home and kicks some ass. Though honestly, the stunts aren't quite as good as the first time. That was literally a hop and a skip. Why'd he even do that? It is still fun though, because it's still Blade badassing it up. That's the sound of a man who just remembered he's Wesley Snipes. He finds Whistler in that thing from Empire Strikes Back, as Blade takes him to his hideout and gives him a cure that hopefully works. He has a flashback of his poignant death that now means nothing, as he opens the blinds and finds he's back to normal. Or as normal as Mr. Grumpy Pants can be.
How do you feel? Like hammered shit.
How Chris Christopherson usually greets the morning. He's introduced to Blade's new gear man, or gear boy, Scud. Played by, get this, Norman Reedus. Yeah, that Norman Reedus.
Josh, you can call me Scud though. Everybody does.
Laugh all you want, but you give that man a baby, every vagina on the internet turns into that crazy lady from Roger Rabbit.
But you want the weirdest cameo in the movie? It's not from Reedus, it's not from Christopherson, it's not even from any of the memorable cast, it's from the Powerpuff Girls. For whatever reason, the Powerpuff Girls are the only thing on TV in this universe. I have nothing against them, but what the hell do they have to do with Blade? Like, at all! Seriously, Del Toro, what's up with that?
Yes, why that breathtaking choice?
No, that is a very funny story. See, New Line is owned by Warner Bros. Warner Brothers owns Cartoon Network. So, I just thought it was a funny show.
As do we all.
I love Buttercup.
If only Blade had a crossover with the Powerpuff Girls.
It shall be done!
Yeah!
Maybe not.
Absolutely not. Waste of time.
Yeah. Vampires are detected in their hideout though, and they gear up for a fight. I don't know what's funnier, the fact that they land right in front of Whistler expecting not to be seen, or the fact that Whistler lets him take him down with virtually no resistance. He looks like he's patiently waiting for someone to kick his ass. Please take away my gun. Please punch me. Please kill me for real next time in Blade 3. Okay, are you really using your sword handle to fight me? Dick! You're a dick! This sword fight more than makes up for the so-so fight in the beginning. That is, except for one thing. Oh, sorry, I must have switched to Ladybug and Cat Noir. What the hell is this? These effects are abysmal, even for back then. It goes from some really kick-ass sword fighting to some of the worst CG these movies have ever seen. And that's saying quite a bit. A fight between Woody and Buzz would look more convincing than this.
Poda! No druk! Je Kolyanichno, je Berkan.
And I just remembered I can use my voice, so I'm doing that 3 minutes into the fight. Smart.
We represent the ruling body of the vampire nation. They're offering you a truce.
I don't know why you took us sneaking in and blacking out your cameras the wrong way.
Take off your mask.
Aw, they've taken the smeg. They ask Blade for help as something is apparently killing off vampires and they need his assistance to track them down. So they bring him to the capital of the vampire nation and introduce him to their overlord.
It has been said, be proud of your enemy and enjoy his success.
It has also been said you're a douche. I like that one better.
Carol Coonan.
You're human.
Barely. I'm a lawyer.
I hate how much I love that joke. They say a mutation of the vampire gene found in Nomak turned him into a creature called a Reaper, who feeds on vampires and or turns them into Reapers as well.
You want me to hunt them? For you?
When they have finished with us, who do you think they'll turn on next?
Twilight fans.
Well, obviously, after that,
humans.
With a brief appetizer of Johnny Depp.
So, B-Man, what do you think?
Sounds like a plan.
What do you really think?
They're gonna fuck us the first chance they get.
Can I point out that dozens have signed that petition since I announced it a few minutes ago? They agreed to play along, hoping they'll get deeper into the vampire world than they've ever been before. Thus, they're introduced to the Blood Pack, a unit trained to hunt Blade, but now they have to work with him.
You smell that? Something smells amazingly awesome. Oh, could it be the badassness of Ron Perlman?
Yeah! See, Pearlman is the man Pearl in every cinematic oyster he's in. Always stealing the show with his tough, aggressive attitude, his army tank of cool cannot be contained. Here, he's a member of the Blood Pack, and one of the main antagonists of Blade, building up a tension-filled rivalry.
Oh my god, this is gonna be awesome!
Indeed it is. So, what's his first line?
Me and the gang were wondering, can you blush?
Here we go, Poppy.
Did that cracker son of a bitch just say what I thought he said?
No. What he said was, can you blush?
I think that's what he thought he said.
Yeah, that's what I thought he said.
Yeah, isn't it great? You see, the Blood Pack, they all get behind him.
Got behind him?
Yeah, to show how bad they are. In a fun way.
Actually, there's some debate about what this line actually means. I'll admit at first I didn't fully get it, so I went online to look it up. Not surprisingly, others can't quite figure it all out either. On the one hand, it's clearly a callback to the racial slur, even down to Blade insulting him back by calling him Adolf.
Adolf here gets the first shot.
But there's other black vampires this guy has been around. Hell, there's even one right in the room as he says it. So it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Some have speculated it's actually a reverse of the insult. Because as vampires, they can't blush. But Blade is half human, so perhaps he can. The idea would be him being able to blush would be the mocking point. And so they're using the slur as a flipped around way of insulting him. Bottom line, if we have to talk this much about an evil line in order to understand it, well, how would an actual funny evil genius put it?
If you have to explain a joke, there is no joke!
Exactly, it's a shitty line for a character you're not supposed to like anyway. Is that about right?
I just wanted you to hate the guy. Do you?
Oh, yeah.
Then chill the hell out and enjoy the movie.
Okay. But I'm taking one of your awards back.
I have more awards than socks. You'll see.
Blade doesn't like the confusing insult, so he places an explosive device in the back of Perlman's head.
You've been taking orders from me. Any questions?
Say a vampire bites a werewolf and he has to hold on to his blood in order to survive because of the blood moon. Can he blush? Blade asks that he be taken to where vampires feed, thinking they'll find the Reapers there. He's taken to a spot but doesn't see any of the vampire markings.
Have a closer look. Because of you, we've had to rethink our habits.
So let me show you exactly how to find them. We're really stupid. But hell with this shit, let's get to the coolest part of any movie like this, weapon porn.
His hyper-velocity stake gun spits out a silver
Got
stake.
pneumatic syringe delivery.
45 9mm caliber.
Oh yeah, oh tell me how it works.
Vials are filled with an anticoagulant called EDTA.
All the foil capsules at the tip.
Hotwired a couple of these babies to a nitro vacuum.
Oh yeah, oh you're gonna kill some shit with that, aren't ya?
Cartridge ejects, automatic reload.
Modified the gun's entry lights, UV filter.
Enough explosives to level a city block. One punch with this, you blow your target up.
Oh, it's like the movie becomes the only manual instructions you're allowed to read. Whistler is told to stay outside, though, as they think he's too old to keep up.
So the Blood Pack's calling the shots now, huh?
The sad part is, they're kinda right. Whistler is a little bit of a pain in the ass in this, complaining how people are doing things wrong, complaining how he's left out of the loop. It's like watching cable news, just seeing an old guy bitch and moan about everything.
Where'd you dig up this shit, Bert? Sucking blood clots for 2 years. Enough of their world. Some jerk off fucking with my life's work. What the hell's that supposed to be?
I built this operation, you asswipe.
Some of us can't see in the dark.
No, it's in a funny book. How rude.
Shit bricks because there's no. Fuck you doing?
What are you crying about?
Sunscreen,
You don't
blood
have to
cups,
live here.
Sunscreen.
So Blade and the Blood Pack enter a club where vampires hang out.
You gotta be kidding me.
I mean a place where vampires rave. I have never seen that since the first movie. Yeah, I have no idea why I said that line. While some partake in literal tongue lashing, the Reapers are getting ready to strike.
Mother's milk.
No, really, in 8 years, I'm totally gonna be a sex symbol, but none of my girlfriends believe me. Nomad captures the Overlord's daughter, Nisa, played by Lenore Varela, but Blade intercepts him.
What am I to you? Is the enemy of my enemy my friend? Or my enemy?
Let's compromise and say frenemy. You look good, penis dick. That might be the silliest reaction to a gunshot I've ever seen. That's more how a cartoon mascot reacts when he finds his favorite cereal. I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs! Cuckoo! The other Reapers start attacking too, as they don't have much time to catch them.
Daylight. Stallone, 96. Underrated classic. Red box it tonight.
Still don't do jack shit, man. Don't waste the bullets.
Also aiming. It would have worked better if you were aiming, jackass! So I had to admit, from a design standpoint, the Reapers are kind of boring. They're just bald vampires that make zombie sounds. Couldn't something make them a little bit more unique? Well, that raised the awesome to Jesus surfing on a dinosaur. Meanwhile, Blade catches up with Nomak, and these two hate each other so much they literally punch each other while falling in slow-mo. Oh, I can't wait for the ground to finish you off. I want you dead now! The sun starts to burn him though, as Blade wins this round. And I have to admit, the action and the monsters in this are pretty solid. It's not anything spectacular, but you really are turning in a fun, dark, imaginative flick.
Well, it is great when you have fans who appreciate fun, dark, imaginative entertainment.
Oh yeah, that's always how it starts.
Tim Burton?
1 minute you're the cinematic master of dark fantasies, the next you're the filler material in between Disney projects. You think you're the new auteur of gothic whimsy. You're not even wearing a black shirt.
Look, Tim, it seems like you've had a little bit too much to drink, so why don't you...
You think they're gonna stay with you? Your fans that see you as a poetic artist? They'll turn their back on you the minute you make a Mars Attacks!
Tim, why don't you go direct Beetlejuice 2?
Is that all you think I am? A rehasher of shit that's already been done?
No, it's literally next movie you signed up for.
Oh, yeah, I forgot I even agreed to that. Tim, we have a review we're in the middle of, so if you could... I used to be the big shit! Me! I was the one people turned to for weird superheroes and bizarre creatures! You just wait, Totoro! This is your future! Your face here, baby! Ha 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 ha! Oh god, someone call Danny DeVito to pick me up!
Don't worry, Del Toro. That's not going to be you.
Yeah, you're not going to be remaking old properties.
Meines films Pinocchio.
Well, shit.
So Whistler finds one of the Reapers over a hole, and they suspect that's where they'll find the rest of them. After a pretty cool examination scene with one of them, Nisa tries to figure out why Blade is so cold to the people that for years tried to kill him. Yeah, weird, right?
The way you talk to them, us. Why do you hate us so much?
We just want to do every terrible thing you could hate a person for!
You know the thirst better than any of us. The only difference between us is that I made peace with what I am a long time ago.
That and I would have said no to U.S. Marshals. Tommy Lee Jones was in a chicken suit, for God's sake. So they gear up for round 2 as they journey underground and hunt the Reapers. But the vampires betray Whistler and figure killing him would even the score for them losing their team member.
I'll leave you two lovebirds some time to yourselves.
We spotted a group in the East Tunnel.
Huh, makes you wonder why Whistler didn't use his radio while he was getting the shit beat out of him.
Hey, Blade. Ow! I hate to be a bother, damn it! But can you get me a pound of aspirin? Ow! And a blowfish to stick up your ass for agreeing to this bullshit mission? Jesus, that hurts!
But Whistler reaps the benefits, so to speak, as the Reapers kill his attacker and he regroups with the rest of the team. Take that, son! Oh, there's a Reaper there. That's lucky.
You obviously do not know who you are fucking with!
I stole a role from Prince in a Michael Jackson video! Google that shit, asshole, from goddamn Prince! Now look at this epic shot!
Boy, for saying bullets don't work, they sure do work. Blade sets off a giant case of light bombs, which I have no idea how light bombs work, but apparently they can travel down tunnels. Of course, water is impenetrable to light. Blade says that, so now it's science! Nomak finds Whistler and says he'll let him live if he delivers a message to Blade.
I'm a gazillion years old. What makes you think I can hear you? Why are you whispering anyway? Afraid the Ninja Turtles will intercept?
He says burn bad, so Blade gives her some of his blood to save her. And seriously, who would have thought you couldn't trust a vampire, huh?
You've done a great job.
Not that great.
They wake up in a blood chamber at the vampire headquarters where Whistler tells Nomac's secret that he was created by the vampires as a genetic means to get rid of their weaknesses.
You want to explain how Nomac got a hold of this ring?
I would have thought that was obvious at this point.
Man, even the Overlord is mocking how predictable the script is.
I give it to him, of course. A gift. From father to son.
Well, that angers me so much, I'm gonna pout and run away. You're not so cool, I can do that too.
Help.
Oh! He tries detonating the bomb on Perlman's head, but it looks like Scud betrayed him as well and says the bomb is a fake. God, vampires, lawyers, guys named Scud, who can you trust in this world?
What do you think about that, man?
2 things. I've been on to you. 2, it's not a dud.
Aw, dick. You're a dick. 2 things. 1, if you knew about it, how come you never used it to your advantage? 2, why use the bomb on easily the most non-threatening person in the room? Probably because of 3, it's just cool to see Daryl get blowed up. Oh, now they'll never finish Silent Hills. They knock Blade out and say his blood, like always, is the missing key to their evil plans. Thus, he spends a good chunk of the climax on a table half alive. As guards, we're not paid to look slightly to our left. Or a teeny bit up. Oh, we suck. We suck. But it looks like Whistler breaks free and sneaks in to save Blade. Blade needs blood though, so he's dropped into Willy Wonka's blood fountain where he gets his strength back. Ladies and gentlemen, the coolest usage of a Crystal Method song ever. I guess we'll just stand back here until it's our turn.
But why?
Just take in the song, man. Take in the song. Gotta love how after all this martial arts, Blade takes out the final guy with a WWE body slam.
Well, like my daddy said right before he killed my mom, want anything done right, you gotta do it yourself.
I am instantly sad I'm never gonna know this character's backstory. Blade stops the sword mid-whoosh and gives the call back.
Can you blush?
Oh, did you take this as a race thing? I want to know being a half-breed. Oh, that was awesome. Is it possible to jizz a rainbow? Because I just did. The Overlord tries to escape, but Nisa traps him for risking her life as well as her men and her brother. Speaking of which... Seriously, we can cure ugly in the near future. That was the wrong thing to say, wasn't it? Yeah, okay, lesson learned. Another fantastically aged CG effect in 3, 2. Well, now we know what happens when the characters from Reboot wrestle. Blade finally finishes him off and tends to the dying Nisa.
I want to see the sun.
Okay, but don't look right at it or you'll do some serious damage. Little vampire hunter humor there. And you're dead. Meanwhile, in London, the vampire that told Blade where to find Whistler is off to a peep show. Hey, what the hell? I ordered a naked Wesley Snipes lookalike. Naked! Oh shit! Looks like my horoscope was correct. Blade 2 is a whole lot of fun. Certainly clunky at times, but the right amount of inventive stunts, monsters, gore, and characters to make it pretty enjoyable. It's a creatively serviceable film, which is what I think Del Toro is good at turning in. Like I said before, I don't think this is anywhere near his best. I'd probably say something like Pan's Labyrinth is closer to that. But it's a good representation of him taking a genre, giving it his spin, and turning out something pretty decent. To some, Del Toro might be a trailblazing genius. To me, he's just a cool guy who makes cool movies. And all I gotta say is, what the hell is wrong with that? I'm the Nostalgia Critic, I remit. Hey, where'd everybody go?
So, what is your next project?
Well, it's about an outcast who's constantly shit on and a bunch of weird stuff happens to.
Now that is an amazing coincidence. Because mine is about outcasts who constantly get shit on and amazingly weird stuff happens to.
Oh, really?
Yeah, maybe not.
Do any of the characters wear black?
Do you even need to ask? Hey, y'all doing okay?
Oh, it's wonderful. Once they realize that they're just trying to rip off every monster movie ever made, They became best friends.
Wait, we already knew that.
Yeah, I thought it was about convincing you, the fans. That's what changed everything.
Yeah, but that would mean admitting that we're wrong, and the fans are never wrong.
Well, whatever agreement you came to, I hope it results in a lot of creativity in the future. Hey, how about this? Godzilla, but it's a metaphor for an angsty loner.
And he's wearing black!
I knew one day you would come.
Gracias, mi amigo. Gracias.
I'm the Nostalgia Critic, I remember it? Whatever it is.
I'm going to collect on now.
No, don't you give up on me! Don't you give up on me!
I need to become the shape of water.
You're human.
Barely. I'm a lawyer.
Santa Maria!
You dare?
Hello, I'm the Nostalgia Critic guy, remember? So you don't have to. Well, after the smash hit Blade, and the even bigger smash hit Blade 2, New Line decided, let's do a bad one. Released in 2004 and directed by Human Punching Bag for at least one more video, David S. Goyer, Blade Trinity let down tons of fans not by being the worst comic book movie, but by being another comic book movie. Say what you want about the first two, but they were big, over the top, and left an impression. This third installment is both more and somehow less of what we've already seen before. With such a crazy plot as Blade vs. Dracula, which already would have been a better title, how could any film make that uninteresting? Well, this flick found a way, and we're gonna analyze how it did it. Let's see why some motherfuckers are still trying to ice skate uphill. How can a series with a line like that end on a bad note? This is Blade Trinity. The film opens up with Ryan Reynolds, hell yeah, Alba-boo! Talking about the famous Count, pretty much saying you don't know Drac.
In the movies, Dracula wears a cape. Some old English guy always manages to save the day with crosses and holy water. But everybody knows the movies are full of shit.
Don't believe me? Keep watching. Cut to a temple being entered by 4 vampires as Goth Spock seems to locate the no longer resting place of old Vlad. Aw shit, the security Spencer strobe light has been activated. They cut before the dollar store rave begins to an interview with a psychiatrist and the chief of police. So naturally, let's talk about vampires.
True health can only be achieved if we reconcile the body and the mind.
How's that fit in with vampires?
Are you really shocked this is on cable news?
You should focus in on characters like this Blade criminal. I want to hear about this character, Blade.
This is already kind of a problem. I get the feeling this film wanted to do like Frank Miller's Dark Knight, where there's news commentary on Batman, but Blade was fun because he was so secretive. He was fighting a war between these ancient beings that kept this all under wraps. And he was good at staying under wraps too. Now, he's referenced on talk shows?
Blade is a troubled individual.
To be fair, this is the kind of story Fox News would run when they're slipping in the ratings. Cut to Blade, played again by Wesley Snipes, hunting down bloodsuckers with his mentor Whistler, played again by Chris Christopherson. The one thing every Wesley Snipes movie gets right? Wesley Snipes. Honestly, the opening fight sequence is fine. Not as much martial arts, but an appropriate amount of badass silliness. Things go south though when Blade discovers one of them is human and this was all a setup to frame him for murder. This guy's pretty happy for being a pawn sacrifice.
Set your sorry ass up.
I mean, for this you'll get off easy, but wait till you see the audit coming your way, man! The FBI turns him into public enemy number 1 and they try tracking him down.
Media's eating it up. They're waging a goddamn PR campaign. Now it's not just vampires we gotta worry about.
It's hashtags, MSNBC, replacing your voice actor even though you ain't a cartoon.
Fuck you around, I'm hungry and I want to eat somebody.
I do like the idea that city life is so strange vampires can say out loud who they want to kill and nobody cares.
Baby on board.
Oh, looks like we got ourselves a combo meal.
fools. Don't you know when you see French bread in a paper bag, it's always fake groceries? It's like barrels in an action movie. They're there to be destroyed!
Fuck you.
Damn, the bird lady from Home Alone 2 cleans up nice. This is Abigail, played by Jessica Biel, who's doing a much better job protecting herself than Blade and Whistler, whose hideout is being broken into by police.
Let's get your plane, Wilson. Time to take these cowboys down.
Let's go, let's go, let's go!
Hey, remember in the first film when they said,
I can go to the police.
They own the police.
Remember what a creepy idea that was, and it gave you the magnitude of how big this all is? They even had that one cop henchman who worked for him. Well, now they're just schmucks. Like, if they own the police, why did they need to frame him? Just send the cops to begin with. It's like killing off Whistler just to bring him back, just to kill him off again. Huh, clip's a little delayed on this one. There we go. Angry reaction! Yes, Whistler blows himself up rather than be taken prisoner. And you do have to ask the question, how is Blake gonna react to that? Because we've already seen this in the first film. He was paralyzed with grief, and in the end, he couldn't even look at him pull the trigger before turning. It was a quiet, powerful moment. Obviously, they have to do something different the second time he dies, and, well, it is different. I think we need a play-by-play of that. You'll notice he limbos and pelvic thrusts both at the same time, as if to say, I hate your lobar death, now take my dick. We then cut to an awkward green screen keying effect, in which we see a keyed blade actually looks less three-dimensional than a key blade. Next, he impressively lays an egg off camera. The crew thought he had a case of the squatting shits again, but he was just giving birth to poultry. And finally, it ends with his reaction every time somebody asks if he was into Wong Fu. It's a shame the Academy didn't consider this for an award, but I'm sure Snipes would have preferred a ceremony people would watch.
Hello, Blade.
He's arrested and approached by the psychiatrist from the opening, who no doubt takes the murder of the hundreds of people that Blade killed very seriously.
I think somebody here wants to talk about vampires. Vampires.
You're the doctor everybody thinks about when they hear the president has to take a mental test before serving.
Tell me about blood. When you drink blood, you ever feel sexually aroused?
Sorry, I was the doctor for Angelina Jolie. I have to ask everybody that now.
I'm starting to wonder what your relationship with your mother was like. The very sweet taste of saliva. Delicious physical intimacy.
Mr. Goyer, did your doctor's therapy notes work their way into this somehow? It turns out the psychiatrist is working for the vampires as the Parker Posey posse arrives to take him away.
We moved the humans around. We used them to flesh it out.
I have to admit, she might be my favorite part of the movie. As she looks like popsicles of Steven Dorff and Brad Dorff melted onto the face of a Monster High doll.
I should have ripped his bleeding heart out when I had the chance. Have a king! We had Blade. We had him!
If her job is to suck the blood of the scenery, she's the human equivalent of the sound effect. But the party is crashed by fuck you, which I think is the perfect way to sum up this film in the series, who's played by Ryan Reynolds. He rescues Blade and gets him back on his feet. Abigail joins him as well and reveals herself to be Whistler's daughter. Yeah, I think I see why they're flickering the lights here. If you take out the sound effects, it does not look like they're hitting these people that hard, if at all. Strange to replace the martial arts with flashlight tag football. Keep running, keep running, keep running, keep running, keep running.
We're fucked.
Well, yeah, you are now, dumbasses! Blade rescues his rescuers and they catch a ride out of there. No! He was just on his way to his fourth H! Is introduced to the Night Stalkers, which sounds like... Help me out here.
Sounds like rejects from a Saturday morning cartoon.
A guy who hunts vampires said that. Think it over. Ever wonder what the male equivalent of side boob is?
I used to be one.
Of course Ryan Reynolds discovered it! Speaking of which, he gives the lowdown about what they're up against.
Her name is Danica Talos, and unlike typical vampires, her fangs are located in her vagina. Moving on.
Reynolds might be the only dweeb-turned superhero while he was a superhero. If he's supposed to be the cool one, who's supposed to be the geeky one?
Holy shit. Gentlemen and hottie.
I too was shocked he was picked for this role.
Have you ever been laid?
Many times. With ladies.
Not that there's anything wrong with being laid by a man. You know, it's ironic. This Patton Oswalt would probably be called out by current Patton Oswalt. Meanwhile, we see the vampires are seeking to destroy Blade by calling on the help of the risen Dracula, played by Dominic Purcell, whose powers include moving at the speed of a living statue.
You're nothing but shadows of your former selves. Look how far you have fallen.
Now, if you've seen this guy on shows like Prison Break, you know he's a really good actor. But casting him as Dracula, the vampire lord of darkness, is an impressive miscast to say the least. I get what they're going for, like the ultimate lethal specimen so he'd be really big and strong, but look at him. He's not the ultimate vampire, he's the ultimate vampire henchman. If you saw him in a lineup of Draculas, you'd think he'd be the one bodyguarding these guys. With that said, he does get a funny scene when he observes how people see him years later.
We've got Dracula lunchboxes, bobbleheads, even vampire vibrators. Dracola. Makes you want to cry, doesn't it?
Agreed, you came up with Dracola, but not Dicula for the vibrator. Boy, they really wanted to emphasize the count part over the chocolate element back then, didn't they? It's okay! Everybody will look at you differently once the Dark Universe gets rolling! Blade helps the Night Stalkers try to locate Dracula, while also helping speak to a younger, hipper crowd.
She likes to listen to MP3s when she hunts. It's like her own internal soundtrack, you know? Darkcore, trip-hop.
Yeah, if there's a problem we had with Blade, not cool enough. I mean, come on, there's no better way to end an interrogation when your victim's phone rings like this.
It's for you.
Hello?
Replace that man with the old "can you hear me now" guy and I'd be happy. They locate for round 2, but he runs away because, you know, he's the most powerful vampire. He kidnaps a baby though, forcing him and Blade to chat.
Look at them down there, scurrying around like insects.
Wrong Lugosi role you're imitating, but I'm curious to see where this goes. I think this line was written just to see if Snipes would say it.
Gucci go.
Of course he would. It's been about an hour in the film since Whistler died. Maybe his daughter should have some kind of reaction to it. Guess that's it. Back to Reynolds not being funny.
Say we wipe out all the vampires. What then, huh? I don't picture you teaching karate at the local Y. He hates me, doesn't he?
Everybody does. 12 more years, it'll be worth it. Later, Blade and Abigail confront one of the FBI agents at a vampire location. Did I mention yet that Snipes has all the best scenes?
What's behind door number 1?
They'll kill me.
Kill you, motherfucker! I'll kill you. I'll just enjoy it better.
Why do I get the feeling they always allowed one take for him to do whatever he wants?
God in heaven.
So that's where chicken McNuggets come from. After seeing how hot dogs are made, the Night Stalker's hideout is broken into by Dracula, who kills everyone.
I guess I could act, but I don't wanna.
He takes the daughter of one of the members, and Abigail discovers her dead teammates. Yeah, her father dying wasn't a big deal, but this lady you never shared a line with? Pull Niagara Falls out for that, man! Blade's bedtime manner, once again, flawless.
Use it. Use it. Use it.
Aw, he would have been a great dad.
Daddy, I had a nightmare!
Well, how do you follow up this apparently emotional moment?
Jesus, what the fuck?
You know films aren't buffets, right? You don't just grab random moments to put on your plate. Give Reynolds credit, this is the one good laugh he has in the movie.
Clearly, this dog has a bigger dick than you.
Ow! I was talking to her!
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Of course, it is followed by this weird line.
And how about everyone here not saying the word dick anymore? It provokes my envy.
I don't even know what joke to put to that. Moving on. They grab a serum that apparently can kill Dracula, because it's always a serum, isn't it? And they head out to save Reynolds. Not gonna lie, I kinda thought the henchmen would be a little less WeWork employees.
I have a startup.
I have a startup.
I have a startup. I have a startup.
I have a startup.
I have a startup.
Ready to die.
I was born ready, motherfucker.
Motherfucker. I like that.
We're in Vancouver. Everybody was too polite to talk that way. Blade battles Dracula, but I'm not gonna lie, Ryan Reynolds battling Triple H? A little cooler. And this is just how me and Sandra Bullock rehearsed for the proposal. He transforms into, I don't know, Darth Maul's hemorrhoid. But the serum is injected into him, killing him off. The FBI break in and find Blade unconscious, and they try to operate on him as he was affected by the serum too. And I'll just say it, I don't follow this ending. He attacks everyone, looks at this doctor like he's gonna kill her, and then it cuts. Reynolds' ending narration tries, the keyword being tries, to explain.
And Blade? The virus didn't kill him, and so he slept, waiting for the moment when he could walk the earth again.
What the hell does that mean?
Yeah, no shit, I've never done this before, but I'm actually gonna look up what happened because I'm so confused. Okay, so Dracula shapeshifted into Blade and was taken to the hospital where he killed everybody. Blade woke up out of a coma sometime later and now continues to search for him. Okay, not only is that lame, it's confusingly lame. I think Poochie had a more detailed epilogue than that. That's it? That's really the note you're ending these films on? Okay, that was Blade Trinity. It was pretty weak. There's an occasional cool moment or good laugh, but compared to the other two, hell, just compared to action movies in general, it's just dull. All of these actors are mad talented and can bring a lot to a film like this, but whether it's the writing, editing, directing, or production notes, it never gets off the ground. The characters have no chemistry with each other, hell, some have no lines with each other. Everything you're supposed to care about is minimized, it looks ugly as shit, it's just not impressive. I keep hearing Marvel is gonna reboot this franchise, and a part of me does kind of feel bad because the first two are so unique and a lot of fun. But I guess if future movies in this series was gonna be like this, it's a damn good time to start over. Speaking of reboots, I think they just dropped off the next film I'm supposed to review.
Gucci go.